Entering the Pat Mayo Experience.
Pat Mayo Experience. Pat Mayo Experience. Pat Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings 2022 3M Open. DraftKings picks, final bets, the ownership, and of course the viewer chat. Hit the time codes if you want to skip to something like the weather when we talk about that. So that's what you should be doing. Smash the like button to the video while you're here. Also, sub to Mayo Media Network. Tyler Tamboline, toe tagging Tambo, in studio with me. What's up?
All right, what's up? Excited. I don't know. This event takes some flack. I know it's after a major, but personally, I like it. I think it's a pretty solid event. I know we got a little bit of a lesser field with the DJ, Bryson, all those guys out, but still okay with it. And I love the way it finishes. The par 5 18th is an incredible spot.
You want to talk about a lesser field? Wait till we get to next week.
Next week's going to be bad. It's going to take the biggest hit for sure.
All right, so here are the bets that I got going. Maybe you can talk. You just talked me into something before we started the show because I was looking at it and I was like, yeah, if you're doing it, I'll do it too. Why not, right?
Yeah.
I had room on the card for it because it's not a really high week for me. Brendan Steele, 40-1. Nick Hardy, that was the boost that Tambo pointed out to me, 50-1. Goddard, 55 with 5 places. Higo, 100 with 5 places. Cole Hammer, 250-1 with 5 places. He's kind of like the, could be Goddard-ish, but way bigger odds.
We've been waiting for it, that's for sure.
Yeah, for like 8 years at this point. First round leader, I played Higo at 75-1. That's another one you just talked me into as well. Corn Ferry Tour, I went with Vince Norman.
Oh, God.
Guy, mash it. He's the last guy that I remember making a hole-in-one on a par 4, so...
It's going to happen again
He
this week.
can't putt to save his life. But ball striking wise is absolutely fantastic. I saw Sky was on him, and I went with my guy, Justin Suh, who I drafted in our draft last year, who earned like $38,000 on the PGA Tour. But he's 40-1 on the Corn Ferry. I'll take him. Next week odds. I just pointed this out to you. A certain site that's open 365 days a year is offering defending champions of events right now for the rest of the season. Someone pointed it out to me. I went and looked. Cam Davis is 50-1 next week. Not that I think that Cam Davis is going to win next week, but he's going to be 22-1 or like 18-1. So I might as well bet him at 50.
Yeah, and he's popular this week. So he should have, like on paper, he should have a good week. So if that happens, then obviously those odds are going to be even worse next week. So I like that for the value.
One and done. I'm going with Steele. Jeff went with Davis Riley, and Cust has cursed poor Adam Long, his guy. The weather for the week. I'm using, what do we say we're using? The Anoka County Airport.
Yeah. Blaine is right beside it, and they're both fine, I think. You're just looking at it.
So I'm looking at the super forecast. It does look like the very early morning on Thursday is going to be better than the rest of the day, although the wind gusts are about the same all day long, but you're seeing in the morning like 10 constant, gusts up to 24, where in the afternoon it's going to be like 16 gusts up to 24. And then Friday, it's like 7 constant, 9 constant in the morning with gusts up to 25. And then in the afternoon, it looks like there's going to be some rain. It's going to be constant like 16 to 18 miles per hour with gusts up to 25. So I didn't really know how to play this, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, just looking at it, so I'll have to wait and see. It's changed quite a bit even over the last day because I've been watching it just in case. But in the sense of what you mentioned, like early stuff, the bigger thing is like temperature too. When you look at going out early, the temperatures are super low. It's going to be extremely hot there this week. Some of the guys on Twitter were there yesterday talking about it. So that goes with the strokes gain jet lag, as our guy Wiley pointed out on Twitter. So I think that's kind of funny. But like just in general, right now it definitely looks like the morning tomorrow would have a bit of an edge. It's just, do you think it plays into the PM advantage on Friday? So wait and see on that. But for right now, first round leaders and stuff like that, I love for going off tomorrow morning. That's why I tried to sell you on your boy Higo.
And so you mentioned Svensson because he's like the first guy.
Svensson's first group off. Yeah, he's out early, 45. The one I like for tomorrow though, I didn't tell you. I'll tell you now because I'm not putting all my bets on here. But just the Hoagie play out first round leader out early, 75-1. You can get it at 90 in some places. I didn't have access to it, so I think that's. I had Cam Young last week. I called it on the Run Pure Sports Premium Show. I'm going to give it out here. I like Hoagie, first round leader tomorrow. I think that's an interesting play off the hop.
He can break the 7 straight miscuts.
It's just one round.
Yeah.
And on top of it, too, I think like if you look, some of his stats weren't as bad as people think. A lot of it's with the putter and things like that. It's just when you see his cuts for week long, people don't want to go there, of course.
Are you going to play him on DraftKings?
I like Tyler Duncan more. I'm pretty okay with my first round leader bet on Hoagie. I'll see my notes here, but I don't have him tagged up yet to play as of now. So
well, let's get into DraftKings ownership for the week. This is one of the weeks that you talk about.
Yes.
Where you can gain a substantial amount of leverage on the field because everyone's kind of hungover from the Open. No one's really doing the deep dive on the research for the 3M as they... I mean, maybe they are, and everyone... Listen, I'm looking at the projected highest-owned guys right now. They're the guys that I feel are probably like the better plays in the field. I get why everyone wants to use them, but we do this every week. We know that the guys who are projected to be the best plays don't turn out to be the best plays. So you're looking at like Cam Davis, Davis Riley, Finau, Thigala, Svensson are probably around your top 5. Anyone else you'd throw in there?
Yeah, definitely Kim at 7,300. He's 28-1 on DraftKings Sportsbook. He's $7,300, and people just saw him come through and make cuts for them and even do well in some of those bigger events. So he's going to be popular. You said Gotterup, Svensson. Did you say Gotterup?
I did not say Gotterup.
So Gotterup was another one. Sorry, I should add him in there at 7,900. Some of these guys, and then Steele is another guy at 8,300.
McNeely, Poston, Hadwin, I think will be relatively popular. The thing is, like when you go through the salaries, like everyone above $8,500, with the exception of maybe Chez Reavie, is likely to be into the double digits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's definite. But I mean, some of them are getting up pushing 20. We'll see more guys over 20 than normal for sure.
Which means that you have these like little spots throughout. Like Steele, he's going to draw some chalk. Laird is popular, but not too popular. It looks like Gotterup and Hardy, Brennan Todd, Svensson, Griot, Tom Kim, and then that's kind of it. Then if you have like 3 guys this week, because you're in the Fantasy Golf World Championship, I don't want you to give away your strategy, obviously, but you kind of pointed out Tom Kim is going to be like 75% owned in that.
Should be. I don't know if he's going to be. I'd expect 50% plus, but I think that's where you just got to make a decision. If you're going to, I have 2 seats luckily, so maybe I could play him on one and not on the other if I want to do that, but you don't want to get too cute. It is 300 people move on to 150. So essentially a cash game at 7,300. It's like I said, with those odds, with everything, it's almost a blocker position where you just play him. If he comes T10, you go with the group, but at least you have him and then you see what the other 5 guys do, play it like a 5v5. If you don't, If he fails, it's like Ryan Fox last week. He failed at 7,100. He was 34% in the mega or the bigger tournaments. You still could have a 5 or 6 that got pushed up the board and had a chance and would have been easily in the top 50th percentile in most of these setups, like high stakes stuff.
Yeah, it must be weird for all these people who, maybe it's not, that in order to qualify for the Fantasy Golf World Championship on DraftKings, that you had to win some sort of GPP in order to do it. And normally, unless you're playing in like the $10,000 one, you have to be like 4 people or something like that. Most people don't qualify that way, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, that's true. I think
now you need to change your strategy of what got you there in the first place, because now it's a double up.
Agreed. And I think the benefit of it is, or the point of it is, hopefully this is the case, I think it is from DraftKings, is to make it so that it's fair, that hopefully the best players come through. The best players should be able to adapt their strategy this week to get into just the top 150. And then it almost like the FedEx Cup playoffs. That's how they've designed this, right? The 3 rounds used to be 4. Now it's 3 for the PGA Tour even, but they've designed it so the 125, you're going to see the best get to the final 30. That's what they hope here. So they should be able to move it through. Next week, right away, moves to 150 going to 40.
Okay.
So then you go right back to the standard strategy of that. So hopefully they're hoping the best players get through this week. Next week, they get to go back to their normal strategy that got them in the first place. And then the final week is the 40 in Memphis at the St. Jude FedEx St. Jude Classic, where it's the best in the world that got to that spot, hopefully, and play down for the $1 million.
I'm glad they've really. So it's 3M this week, and it's Rocket Mortgage.
They skip Wyndham because, like last year, especially because there's travel and stuff like that involved. So I want to make sure that everybody can get there. Be able to get down to Memphis, Tennessee, with no hassle of a last-minute booking of a flight or any issues like that they have. They want to make sure everyone gets there.
Savvy, and doing it at the final, like. It would be worse if they were like, "Oh, we're going to do it the 3 weeks of the FedEx Cup playoffs." Like, that would be horrible.
That would be horrible. Everyone does hate this, including myself. It sucks that it's this week and next week for the variance that goes into these weeks of, like, this week, eagles, birdies, water everywhere. Like, there's a lot of risk, heavy chalk, all those factors. But you wouldn't want to have it set up any different because you want to play the final when it's, especially now that they've moved to the 3-game set for the FedEx Cup playoffs. Like, that's an important 125. Like Rory said, he's playing. Like, everyone's going to be playing. Everyone's going to be playing it because you need it to move on. So talk about motivation. No excuses at that when the best 40 play down for the $1 million.
What do you think the best 3 tournaments would be?
I was just saying this. Maybe I'm way offline, but I like the Scottish, the Open, and then give us a long break to think about it. They could do like promos, videos, hype it up, make it into a thing, only because those had more motivation going into them. But I honestly don't mind. We could have done the Open. Pick one of these 2 weeks that, becomes the next one. But like I said, the challenge is there that, people don't like these weeks no matter what. And that would be the 150 moving to 40. The other side of the coin, though, for me was like if you played the Open, the best of the 300 that made it play at a fair event with tons of motivation. You pick one of these events for the 150 down to 40, where it's like you have to change your strategy because there's going to be such heavy chalk. You have to move around it and adapt, and then you go to the finals and play the best at the St. Jude. Could have skipped a week in between each.
If you're out there, let me know what you think of the best 3 tournament run would be for this. I don't see why they can't do it earlier in the season. Just have the guys carry it over, maybe give away some swing season seats as well, and then you could have some sort of like Pebble Beach, Phoenix, Farmers or something, or Genesis.
Yeah, the DraftKings would have it set up so they can end in anything that's in New Jersey, right? That would be their hope because it's close to home.
But they're building that. It won't be done for this year, but they're building that facility at the Waste Management. That would be a pretty cool one. Like,
that would be incredible.
Everyone's in the box at 16. You could film it. Like that would be the ultimate like end to it. I think.
I'd
but
love
like
that.
you don't want to be playing the fucking Sony Open though.
Yeah,
Or maybe you do. I don't know.
I don't know. I agree with you. I like the Phoenix side of things when you get there. I know everyone used to hate on it a little bit from DraftKings perspective because you didn't have DFS, but now that it's set up to go and they've got the sports betting set up, they're going to get there. It's going to be an incredible scene.
So it appears like Finau and Theegala are going to be not significantly more, but markedly more than Hideki and Sungjae this week. Sungjae, I'm guessing, is going to be the lower owned one, or is it going to be Hideki?
It's tough. It feels like the late steam, though, is coming a little bit on Hideki.
It should.
And the interesting stuff is, like, so everyone's seeing the number now. You can bet him at, like, 18-1 in some places, so that makes sense, and like, for bringing ownership. And then secondly, it's just surprising, but all the stat models everywhere, you'll still bring up Hideki, but everyone just wants the safe play in Finau. Right? So, but if you think back to last week, Pat, let me get your take on this real quick because just driving here, I was thinking of this. Like Finau last week, the conversation was his open history, how his recent form had been, and everything that went into it. He did not have a good open last week. Him and Hideki both had good Sundays.
I mean,
Sungjae stayed
he finished
off.
top 30.
It was, again, sure. It was fair.
He
fair.
ended up, he didn't kill you.
Right. And it was fair, and it worked on DraftKings too. That would be the other thing, and why I think that pushes the ownership. But Hideki has never really been great at the opens. Wasn't great again last week. Did have an incredible round 4, but he has a 7th here. He's a guy that's playing. Like he was out there practicing yesterday, ready to go. People I know are worried about like a WD or go to live or DQ from last time. He's not trying to do that. I don't think he flies all the way here to get in this to not move the needle, get the FedEx Cup points that it would seem that he's here for, lock that in, and be able to move on and just show up in Memphis, right?
I would think so. Like I have no problems playing Hideki. I just don't know what I want to do at the very top.
Yeah, I think I want to play Hideki.
Would you play Finau and Hideki? Can that get you so unique? And you have the 2 best guys in the tournament, and no one's going to do that.
I'm glad you brought that up because one thing I will say, it's not full correlation of anything to do with the course of the setup, but remember back at the RBC Canadian Open when everyone looked at the field, we looked at the top 7 or 8 guys, and we said there's just a massive drop-off, and then we started talking about the 9K, 8K, 7K range, where we were like, oh, but we like all these guys, so we'll play these losers. Then it ended up being that you needed all those guys at the top, none of those losers, and just pick some 6K guys that make the cut. Here, doesn't it kind of feel like that? Like you keep Theegala in there, but like Hadwin hasn't been as great, and he's 9,600. Had a good season before, didn't he? I think he just missed the cut at like the John Deere, so not too impressive on him. McNeely obviously playing better. Davis, Riley, Davis, whatever. But if you go to the top, like it feels like that top range is loaded. That you could just say Finau, Matsuyama, Theegala, and build with 2 of them in your lineups in these large field tournaments and just get different that way.
I think I'm good with playing Finau and Hideki, to tell you the truth.
Even that, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You mix 2 of those 3. Do you want to throw Im in there? Like the conversation around Im is that 10 strokes on the putting greens last week, like it was that, but he has not been good beforehand either. If you look at his recent form, it's been really bad. So I don't know what your thoughts are on Sungjae. He rates out really well based on ownership because I just don't think he can get enough.
Yeah, ownership, and when you start waiting the longer term of everything, he's going to look a lot better. Mm-hmm. Because obviously he'd been playing great until... Do we know if he got COVID or not, or what happened with him when he missed the PGA Championship?
Tested positive for sure, but he was back playing, so I don't think it was that serious.
So
hasn't played well.
He hasn't played well since, is the thing. Well.
But then last week you look, and it was the greens. Like that's... Do you want to hold that against him for the most recent form? Listen, this is all I'm saying. Usually, Sungjae in this field, I know it's going a little overlooked here, but Sungjae versus these guys, like this used to be his bread and butter. He just beats up on, remember the Web.com tour, the leading money leader. He was just crushing everybody. This is no different of a field, really.
If you use Finau and Im, or Hideki and Im, or Finau and Hideki, like you can use Tom Kim, no problem. Like that's not going to be an issue anymore.
Hideki, Im, Kim, and you've still got a bunch of guys you can go to there. That's what I'm saying, right? You can look at it from that perspective. I actually don't have a problem with it. I think it's more interesting for the large field tournaments because two things I'm hearing the most about is one, skipping the top three guys because the Open, they were just at it, coming back from Scotland, played on Sunday. Exactly.
And if one of them plays poorly, it's going to be like, oh, he was gassed from the Open. But if one of them plays great,
no one will say shit. Exactly. Yeah. So there's that. The second key piece, I think this one's more important, is that you just everyone that does that thinks that, again, I was talking about levels to it, but they'll hop down to the 9K and then they'll still use all their salary. So they'll build the same balanced build or a variation of it that the entire field is doing. So I think if you are hopping down, even if you were fading the top, I think the interesting piece is leaving like up to 1,000 on the table where you're not going to get the exact same balance build as everyone else, but most people are either spending the salary to get the same balance build or spending the salary to go up from the 9K to the 10K and get one of or whatever with Finau, Matsuyama, and him. So I like your play of playing two guys that are studs, and then you end up skipping a bunch of this 9K, 8K chalk, and it doesn't hurt as much to plug in some of the 7K chalk. I think that's where you're going with it with like Kim using Tom Kim with those guys at the top. You can get away with it then.
Jason Day withdraw yet?
No.
Is he going to withdraw?
Why do you think so? He was out there practicing yesterday.
I don't know. Didn't we just go through this with him at whatever crap tournament that he was supposed to be playing in? Then he pulled out last second. He was my one and done. That's how I remember that.
It is true. Yes. Speaking of withdrawals, hashtag never forget. You remember this tournament last year? Personal reasons. 30% owned Hank Lebioda. Went 69-69 and then withdrew after just crushing out of the gate. That was this tournament last year.
Was it?
Yes.
Yeah, this tournament's been weird because we had the chalk EVR year when he was just brutal.
Terrible because his wife has a place there.
No, he went to the University of Minnesota.
Or that would have, something like that, exactly. So that.
And then we had DJ, who I bet on, who quit.
DJ basically. Last year, that was this same tournament. And he tried to mess it up and he still couldn't. So on 18, he's like, all right, no one went in the water here. I got to push it right off the tee. Still put it to like 8 feet and then had to miss that on purpose too to get out of this place. So that was last year with DJ. And there was something else last year too, I think. I forget what it was. Oh, Champ on 18. Everyone had the big 125-1 ticket. Obviously he ended up winning, but remember he pulled driver, Twitter in an outrage with everyone with their outright tickets. How could you pull driver on 18? He's like, nope, sticking to the game plan, pushes it completely left, and then has to chip it back out into the fairway, put it tight, and make the par to get everyone the ticket. And he's like, calm down, guys. Just Aaron Rodgers style. Relax. We got this. And goes on and ships it at 125-1. So that's why I like the ending of this tournament. I think you can have some stuff happen. And then we had the Bryson Wolf here.
With Morikawa.
With Kawa.
Yeah, people
will forget.
Wolf and Morikawa, out of the gate. It's like, jeez.
That's why people like you still bet on Justin Suh, because he's part of that original crew that got sort of dusted underneath a little bit.
Yeah.
And now you're sitting there hoping that it's going to come true. Cole Hammer, baby. We got him this week.
Yeah, well, I mean, people were interested in him as a 13-year-old at the U.S. Open or whatever it was. Now he's a man.
All the nostalgia, just saw the Rory Young 9-year-old playing on TV stuff, and then that did not work out, so we'll see.
So I'm firmly against doing like the balance build this week, like starting with the Gala, picking up Riley and Cam Davis. That just... At a tournament like this, especially because the quality of field is so low, but you also have to consider the course, too. I mean, I comped it to PGA National. Not necessarily, I mean, Michael Thompson has won both, but I don't think that's necessarily how it plays out. But with so much water, you just know that guys are going to blow up. And you don't know who is going to blow up. So if you can avoid, the 30% 9K guy, who is really no different than the 10% 8K guy, I just don't see why you would play him.
Yeah, birdies and train wrecks, right? That's the MO here, but also what you just said. So I just want to clarify, though. I'm not firmly against the balanced build, but I'm firmly against the chalk that you're talking about in a lot of cases. Again, the Fantasy Golf World Championship is something totally different where there's a blocker play. I'm not going to get into all that, say I'm doing this and do that. I'll give you the truth, but I'm just saying in this, my point is, so here, if we look at it, Goddard, Svensson, even Kim in large field tournaments, and even Finau in large field tournaments. Finau's probably on the mediocre side, actually. But those other three are some of my worst ratings ever, just based on playing it. You could literally just I have no problem in large fields just taking those guys out or building in a completely different way where they're your one chalk guy and the other five are not. Sometimes you flip the script. But those guys there's huge leverage points here because the elephant in the room, we didn't talk about it off the top, but there's only 7 guys over 9K. And a lot of people are making reasons to not play some of them. So at some point, you have to either just leave the salary on the table, which I'm okay with, and then you could play some of those chalk guys in those lineups, or You just got to get off these other guys. Like, it's a good week where some of these guys out there just fade everybody that's 30% or 25% owned, that you just get away with it because there's just so many options and so many pivots around them.
Which of the chalk guys do you actually like and will play? I'm going to play Brendan Steele.
I was just going to say Steele and Finau rate out as the best ones for me, and that's typically the case. The good chalk is usually up there. Now, look, I'm not even going to call them good chalk because they're actually still not. Like, when you look at Steele, you still have guys around him like Laird, who just played incredible at the Barracuda last week, almost won us a 33-1 ticket. It's, again, not comparing them, but that's Stableford scoring, totally different. But the point would be you have to go low at that to do well. If you have to go low here to do well, if he could bring some of that across. You've got Reavie, Poston, Tringali. You've got guys above Steele that you could play too. So I'm not saying he's good chalk. I'm just saying he rates out much better than Gotterup, Svensson, and Kim.
Can I talk you into like a 27% owned Davis Riley?
He's another one that I should have mentioned. He doesn't rate out as good as Finau and Steele, but I understand it. The thing about Riley is he's just the one that, like, he's a FOMO situation. We've been waiting on it. We know how good he is. He's incredible. We're expecting him to come through and get a win, and when he does, it should be in a field like this at a number like that, which is not the number we want, but it's there. The point would be, though, like, when have we haven't seen him lately. It's not really, like, does he warrant the 30% or 25% that I'm thinking of? I have all my ownership numbers, by the way, this week for the Fantasy Golf World Championship, so I've boosted a lot of guys. So I said Riley 30. He's not going to be 30.
No, I think that he could push 30 in big GPPs.
He might be even more than that in the World Championship. That's what I'm saying. So I boosted my numbers, so take 5% off everything I say today. But I do think that when you have, like, what are your thoughts on the guys around him? We didn't talk, like, Cam Davis is going to be very similar ownership. People even play them together. McNeely, $300 more, just played, he played okay last week, wasn't great, but he's been good otherwise, was not overseas, was not doing anything like that. So
here's your lineup here's your starting four that I think a lot of people are going to go to. Finau, Riley, Cam Davis, Tom Kim. You still have $7,100 left.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And if you don't use Finau and you use Theegala, let's say, now it's $7,500 per, and you can get yourself back up to that Gotterup, Nick Hardy, whatever, or you can just play Svensson and other popular guy. Like, that's the core lineup that I think that most people are going with.
Finau Riley is going to be a popular start, to your point there.
Well, I'm good with not playing Riley. Like, if Riley wins, whatever.
Well, it's same as betting. That's what I say.
Yeah.
What is he, 25-1 or 22-1?
22-1.
People get so, like, I got to bet him every week so I don't miss out. But that's always my point with these guys. Like, does he win this 1 in 25 tries? Maybe. He's that good. I think he could. But it's like, I don't care if I miss that one. Like, for example, Gotterup, we both bet him. And, like, this might be our last chance to get him at that number when he goes out and crushes this week. So I'm going to try him at that number. And then what are we in for? 2 bets on the guy for the year? Because we didn't even bet him, I don't think, at the Canadian Open. We were playing him at 6,500.
No, I bet him at the Canadian Open too.
I don't remember, but did you? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I did too. I don't recall, but I'm just saying, even if you did,
but hey,
we're in on big numbers.
He already paid off for the rest of the season with his top 5 at the John Deere Classic.
That's correct.
So
yeah,
when I first, he was the noticeable one when I opened up the odds on Monday morning, being like, well, he's not going to be 55-1 2 hours from now. Yeah. I don't know what he's going to be on Wednesday. So he's like down to what, 35, 40?
Yeah.
So
again,
and realistically, when he blew up last time, it was one bad round. The guys have bad rounds.
He can be off and on with the putter. That's where I have a challenge with him. Again, obviously it looks good based on the John Deere, all that. But if you just do finalized chalk talk here, like Finau, you could poke holes in it. Hideki's right there. You go down to I'll do 5 real quick. You do Riley. We just talked about it, the ownership, guys above and below. And like, what was it? Like not a great result the last time out. Nothing special to write home about. We're just betting on his talent because we know he is that good. Then you go to Steele. Again, probably one of the better ones, almost like Fleetwood of last week. Happens to even be in that similar price range where it's like looks okay on paper. But Gotterup, you've got Hardy, who we didn't talk about. You talk about betting him, but he's right there. And all those guys in that range. Last year's champ, Cam champ. Guys there. And then you got Svensson. Svensson and Gotterup both have issues with the putter.
Yes.
They definitely have issues with the putter. You can go look at but what people will say, and this is where we can finalize it if you want, but Svensson, go to Fantasy National. Look at the last 8 rounds, gaining with the putter. Every single one of them. Like 10 of his last 12. Has he found it with the putter? Everything else looks great on paper for Svensson. The challenge with him is at 7,600, you have a lot of guys in that range based on just 7 guys, 9K and up. The 7K range is littered with guys that could definitely beat Svensson this week.
Are you surprised Wyndham Clark isn't more buzzy based on his performance as of late? I know he kind of flamed out after making the weekend at the Open. That's the Open.
I think he is more buzzy.
Okay.
Then I put him here at like 13, 14.
I think he's way lower than that.
I'm adjusting,
Yeah.
but so you can put him at 11 or 10, but he's definitely getting talked about more than you probably think. So again, he's a bomber off the tee, has looked good lately.
I don't think you need to be a bomber here.
I don't think so either. I think that's just a lazy setup off of what we've seen the winners be. Does it help everywhere? We talked about this last week. It helps everywhere. Of course, it helps to bomb it at courses. I'm just saying, other guys can get away with it.
Sure, but I mean, for most of the final round until we got to 18, and even on 18, did Champ pull out the driver, or did he like shank like a 2-iron over to the left?
I was pretty sure the outrage was the driver.
I feel like he was clubbing down most of the day.
Because he pumped it left, and that's what everyone's like, you wouldn't need to do that shot there. Chad can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was definitely he pulled the driver, and people were outraged because they have this 125-1 ticket. He's like, just chill. He clicks it up. I remember he clicked it back in and got it up there, and then 2-putt for par and got the W. So I'm pretty certain on that. But like to your point, just to quickly go off that, like, Neesmith, Pan, Higo, your guy, like Merritt, there's just Smotherman. There's so many guys in this range right around Svensson that are, could be classified as the same dude that can still go low here. And what was Svensson's thing? I don't have it in front of me, but I think he went recently like 62, 69, and then on the weekend went 71, 69.
Yeah, that was at the Barbasol.
Right, where, by the way, 71, 69 would have missed the cut. So if you just flip those, you can't. It's the way it happened. I'm just saying, it's like the guy is capable of going 71, 69 here, and we don't get to see the Svensson 62, and it just doesn't happen first-round leader like we want when he goes out in the first group. It's definitely possible. And that's where, again, I just think about that angle when you have so many other guys in this range. And then lastly was Tom Kim. Large field stuff, like I don't know how you feel about it. Like could Gim greater than Kim be a thing?
Gim better than Kim.
Yeah. Same
It can
price.
very much happen.
It can definitely happen. Like it just, to me, that's what I don't understand or know. And then the thing I'll bring up on Kim, I brought up at the start of the week with Kenny, was that with Kim last week at the Open, he had 15 birdies and he played the weekend. Not that it's a birdie fest, I'm not saying that, but just to give you an idea, JT Poston missed the cut last week, had 12 birdies.
Well, I think he birdied like the first 9 holes of the Open, and then somehow he missed the cut.
Right. It happens. I'm just saying that's, especially at a course like this with the water, the volatility, it can happen. It can fail. So that's where I just think people get too hung up on these plays and not so much on thinking about a little bit more of the game theory, especially on these lazy weeks.
How do you feel about Ryan Palmer? Finally kind of clicked again at the Scottish.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to make of him, but I think I'm going to play him.
Could be a big leverage play, squeezed between Goddard and Hardy.
He's just the guy in there. I don't want to play Jason Day. So give me another like washed up loser who's there. Give me Ryan Palmer. At least he still drives it well. He's fairly accurate. He can get hot with the irons. He really can't putt, but he's someone who actually has played well at PGA National in his career too.
That is true, and that's been a pretty good comp. So another washed up loser is 7,700, Ricky Fowler.
What do you do with him?
He's been better lately, man. So I don't know. I think for MME at 7,700, he probably fits into that mold. He also squeezed between the popular price points, right? When you've got Goddard up at 79, Svensson at 76, and Kim at 73, and a lot of lineups starting there or one up or one below, like, are people going to Fowler? No.
So the way that I have my like stars on Fantasy National right now, fantasynational.com/Mayo, to get yourself that 20% off discount. Finau, Matsuyama, 1-2, and then I have no one else starred until Brendan Steele at 83.
Yeah.
That sounds like lock button, Finau, Hideki. Let's see how this week goes.
You could do it. I think it's a very interesting week to do it, obviously.
But I guess the question is, should I be wave stacking here? Because those two don't play in the same wave stack.
We'll have to wait and see on that. Like I said, as of now, it definitely looks like tomorrow morning is an advantage, just the way it shakes out. I know it's only 9 versus 16, and the gusts are still 24 across, but the point would be that the challenge that always comes into it is what happens on Friday afternoon, because there's a little bit of rain looking there, the winds are higher, all that. That would be where the AM goes back out in, obviously. And then the other side of it is always what I talk about. I know people always prefer for guys to get a hot start, and then that means they're just going to have a hot start on day 2 and come through and make the cut. But I talk about it all the time where I actually think we'll never know. It's every golfer's got a different mentality, but I think there's something to be said for when you just go out, get through that afternoon and have a great round, get to go out Friday morning, which looks just as good as Thursday morning, with the mentality, no number. You don't know what the cut is today. You don't have to set a number. You just have to play good golf, get into the clubhouse and sit and watch while everyone else has the mentality that now I got to hit. And now they know, the PM guys on Friday know the number they need to hit. That can lead to mistakes. And with water out there and down the stretch, that can be, it can be a juicy spot to take some PM AM if everyone's going AM, PM and just stack it either way to see.
I don't even know if I do. I mean, I probably should do a few correlated wind stacks, but with the way that I'm looking at it right now, if Finau's in the bad wave, he's still better than everyone.
Oh, I know. That's definitely
mean?
the way to think about it. Like, don't do it with the studs, especially if you are even doing it. Like I said, we'll know more as the day goes on, but I just think in general, when you're doing that, Finau is not a guy to plug into that.
So I do have, after those two guys, I got no one in the middle. Adam Long, cursed. You probably could have used him. Very cursed, though. Steele, Laird, Hardy, Palmer, Goddard. All back to back to back to back. Just throw them into the pool. Higo, Merritt, Gim, Kim, Matthias Schwab. I'm actually going to this week. John, go back to that wagon. He's been bad the past few weeks. Hayden Buckley is another one who, if the dude could putt, he has made like 4 straight cuts, but his ball striking has been excellent.
I like Tyler Duncan over him. You want to? Wait, I got $150 credit with you after last week.
I know.
We could bet $50 on that. You want Buckley versus Duncan?
I mean, I really don't.
Okay.
My numbers actually say that Tyler Duncan is better than Hayden Buckley. Just kind of deep diving on Hayden Buckley a little bit and look at what he's doing. Like, gained on it. Like, he made the cut at the Barbasol. He lost over 8 strokes putting.
Yeah, he's good. He's good for this spot too. I have nothing against him.
But he makes a ton of birdies.
Yeah, he does. He can.
Yes, he's like he's basically like cheaper Svensson.
That's where I think a lot of these guys are, though. Like down here, if you go to this range, I think there's a lot of guys that could be a cheaper Svensson. Like, it's just the way it works out. But Svensson's again, don't forget too, like the DraftKings odds for betting odds and stuff are what's pushing a lot of the ownership, especially. Would
you go to Jagger?
Oh yeah, 7,000. I got him tagged up here. He's if you're talking about Buckley, can make a lot of birdies. This guy shoot a 59, 58. What did he shoot the week? I think he shot 59 and then Furyk shot a 58 or vice versa that time. And it's like Jagger was Mr. 59. Like 2 minutes later, Furyk was Mr. 58. And it was like, sorry, pal, I got this guy legend that just outdid you on the PGA Tour. So, something like that where you see it set up. But Lashley at 7,000 is there.
I'll probably pass on all the numbers. Really like Lashley. Just every time I use Lashley, he's like 8 over through 4 holes, and it's like, oh man, why am I doing this?
What about Bramlett, Callum Tarrant?
Tarrant, I have interest in. I don't have any interest in Bramlett.
Canadian, Michael Glitchick?
Per Fantasy National, he's like drawing ownership this week.
He is some. Yep.
I'd rather play Jagger.
You can. That's who I like.
But yeah, nice run by Gligic.
Gligic, yeah.
Gligic.
But what didn't he withdraw recently?
I don't remember that.
I think I saw Adam Stanley post on it because I think it was from the Canadian Open, actually.
Oh, well, he's played since then and come inside the top 10 at John Deere.
He's fine. Yeah, he is fine. So I did see that too. You're right.
What else do we have here? Pro Live James Hahn.
Oh, gosh. Too many people eating chips in Portland, I was going to tell him. You better settle down there, James. He knew after, though. He tweeted out after that. He's like, I'm not good enough for this. I'm not the guy they want. And he knows he'd be the first to get booted anyway when all these other guys come over. So
yeah, just like Andy Ogletree, who's back on the Corn Ferry Tour now.
Oh, I saw that today. They said he's playing for what is he playing for? Like the top prize is like $20K less than what his last place prize was.
Yeah. Good on him for getting the money.
One-time shot.
Yeah.
Got his 100 Gs, 120.
And he probably got like an appearance fee too.
Yeah.
So
definitely to be there for the first one and all that. So he made money.
So Buckley, Lower. I assume that's not how it's pronounced, but that's how I'm choosing to pronounce
Lower
it.
Lauer. Yeah, I know you're talking about. He makes a lot of cuts, surprisingly.
Yeah, makes a lot of eagles too.
He scores. I got him on the list here.
So below that, now I'm getting into like dicey territory of random losers that I just like to play. Like you have Kelly Kraft and Sam Ryder and Ryan Moore, Doc Redman, Paul's guy, Andrew Novak.
Novak, I like.
Kadira actually has been doing a bit better than people may think. Mm-hmm. Back-to-back cuts at the John Deere and Barbasol, gained a ton on approach at Barbasol. When he pops well, but he just tends to miss way too many cuts. But it's a $6,000 guy. Like, what do you expect?
Yeah, I have another take, and I think I'll go against it a little bit, maybe play a couple of them, but I think you should use no 6K guys. Just don't play them at all this week.
Not even Austin Cook?
He's the one I have that I was just going to say. I have the exception on Austin Cook. If you want to risk it, be crazy. Grayson Murray, you've had this conversation in the past. He's even more of the villain as we speak right now, just based on everything lately, and he's getting like no ownership at all. He can make birdies. But I just have a hard time sticking to my own rules. I'm just trying to advise properly. So, do what I say, not what I do. But I do think Novak was the other one. So I guess I've got 3 or 4 in there that I could include because they could be 7K to me and I would still play them. But I'm talking the range is wide, and I think that you should just avoid it and still avoid the chalk in the 7K range when you're building, but it's just an example of, a spot you can get different.
You know who I will use? Lebiota.
Yeah, I just told you the story on him from last year. But last year, I will say, his form, the reason he was 29.9% owned, even in the $15.
Because he was gaining 10 strokes per event.
He was literally crushing coming into the event. But, you could go there for sure. He's 6,900. It makes sense. You like him better than, who else was there? Lauer?
I'm trying to build a pool of guys that I can just pair with Finau and Hideki at this point. I don't need to be super committed to any of these guys.
That's true.
They can just be in 5-10% of the lineups, whatever. Yeah. If I'm playing AM, PM stacks, and I can pick and choose the guys that I want for them. But I just want to kind of build the pool up of these lower guys if I'm going to go so consolidated.
Yeah, part of my angle, I should say, was that I think playing the bottom of the 7K range is unique in large field GPPs this week because Kim, Svensson, Goddard, and even the pivots of Clark, Grillo, getting steam guys, Clark, Grillo, Hardy at 8K is right above, Neesmith, Pan, all those guys still keep you above 7,300. You can definitely, what's your average salary remaining when you went with Finau and with Hideki Matsuyama at the same time, just going even the top two?
73.
Correct.
And this gives me access to steal if I want it, if I use some of those guys.
So that's what I'm saying. If you went you're not doing a whole lot, but put two $7,100 guys, and you could still go an 8K guy.
Let's see, Jaeger, I liked him. Let's just pretend I really like Lothar of the Hill people.
And you got enough now to go steal, right?
Finau, Hideki, steal, Jaeger, lower. With those 5 guys, $7,000 left.
Yeah. See what I mean? And you're using all the lower 7K. You're skipping over Kim, Svensson, Goddard, and you actually still have access to an 8K guy. And if it ends up like RBC Canadian Open, you have 2 studs up there. The guy that at 8,300 looks like he's okay. You're still unique across the board with your total overall ownership likely. And you've got guys that you don't even really dip into the 6K. You got the guy at 6'9" that could be 7'1".
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to look ludicrous when the final leaderboard is Theegala, McNeely, Riley, but
if. But even then, you're going up against a bunch of guys. You get the same dudes as all the other guys got. You're playing in a field of 80,000 people. Well, 25,000 people got that set up in some way, shape, or form. You're just battling it out for that. You still need to get crazy and have the exact pinpointed last 3. You'd rather try and win it easier up front than going that way.
All right, let's get to the chat.
Let's do it.
Talk to the peoples out there. Brent the Tent. He's the first one up here. Outright bet. Riley or Theegala?
Riley.
I would bet Riley too. I'm not betting Riley.
I'm a Riley guy though. I don't. Theegala's been great. I definitely prefer Riley.
Poston, Riley, or Tringali and Long?
Poston, Riley
would be very popular.
Poston, Riley. I would go Poston, Riley.
I think I would too. I just like those 2 guys better. And not cursed. Adam Long, very cursed.
Tringali, Long, lower owned. So if you're doing that Poston, Riley, just to be clear, with all the other chalk guys, get away from it and go to the other side.
Steele, or Finau, Goddard? I mean, objectively, I like Finau, Goddard better, but your team is so much more unique if you have Im and Steele.
Same thing. And that's where we always have to talk to it from. So when I pick these 2v2s, I would say that Im Steele is for sure better on paper. It's got the better piece of chalk, if you will, or at least how it rates out, and Im much lower, much better a leverage play than Finau there.
This one's interesting because I went and looked to bet this guy on the Corn Ferry Tour, and he wasn't there. I didn't realize he was in this field. Pat, is Sung-Yil no? Actually, Sung-Yil yes this week. As in, yes, let's play him and win all the money.
The best RPS joke on him is soon you'll know. Are we playing this guy this week? I don't know. Soon you'll know. But we'll see. Will he do well this week? Soon you'll know. We'll find out. You never know. This guy's cheap, though, 6,300.
I mean, he sucks off the tee is the one thing.
I took him out of my pool, so I don't care.
I can see why people would want to play him, though. Putts well. The approach has been great. It's just the driving hinders him so much. And in a course like this where one bad drive and you are missing the cut, essentially.
Yeah. Does he go off in the morning tomorrow?
He goes off. Let's see. He gains on distance, does not gain on fairways. Sung-Yil no, yes, 8:18 in the morning. He is out there.
First round leader bet.
You know what? That I can do.
That's how I would prefer it. I think if he's going to show up, it's going to start with a good day tomorrow. So, and we can get.
No, I'm looking at the Kazoo Classic.
Yeah, they put it they really like that this week. What's the?
It's in Britain, so the site that we tend to use is
170. Pat.
First round later.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Add into the list.
I'm each way.
Yeah, I'm going to each way that one too. Oh, wow. I'm playing a 6-6. 6-6 pays almost $1,300.
Yeah.
So no.
Is this a good bet? Soon you'll know. That's what we always talk about with this guy. So we'll see. But I don't know. It's 170. Have interest for sure at that, but nothing else.
Top finishing Canadian this week? I would guess that people will bet Glieglich just because he'll be the better odds. I mean, Hadwin is the answer.
I was just gonna say, I think
Do you think people have talked them out of Hadwin as the week has gone along?
Yes. I was just gonna say the funny part is like Svensson or Gleegic, like you talked about getting the owners the late steam, if you will. Nothing crazy to worry about. I'm just saying people are talking about enough just to, like on a bet to talk themselves into that, where I think it actually will just be the favorite here. Hadwin already has ripped this place up. And the other thing about Hadwin's ownership that I'm seeing everywhere is how. Like we talk about this all the time, but how does he get it? When you have Finau, Matsuyama, who will still get some, you have Thigala, who's for sure getting it, and then you have Davis, double Davis, Riley and Cam Davis back to back. How does Hadwin get like he can get 14, 15 to me, but people are getting him at like 20 and 22. It just can't be to me.
Should I throw him in the pool?
He's fine in the pool, I think, at 9,600. Yeah.
Interesting. Adam Hadwin.
This is what I'm talking about. So
but it was just when the odds opened, I just crossed him off my list. I was like, nope, not doing
right,
that.
and even at 9,600, what I said on the Fantasy Golf Dinners podcast with Kenny was it almost reminds me of the exact situation. But again, I'm bringing up this RBC Canadian Open, not
Harold
for the course.
Varner III.
Varner was 9,700. Everyone said he's shit. You can't play him at that number. He's better than you think. And not only that, Hadwin's played here twice and come top 6 both times. I think it was a 6th and a 4th. He's got a game, like he can get there. That's where I'm saying it's a little bit interesting from that standpoint. But
I'm throwing Ryan Moore in the pool too at $6,800.
All right, more 6K losers.
Yeah, more 6K losers to spread the wealth around. I've added Hadwin to the pool now as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're right. It just gets to the point when you look at the ownership, it's like all these guys can't be this owned. It's impossible.
There is math involved in figuring this stuff out. Yes. So
also, what do you think the chalky build will be with how strange the pricing is? More balanced or more stars and scrubs with 2 players from Hadwin and up? I think we kind of hit on it in terms of it's essentially the plays lineup. Like, how is that going to look?
It's two plays from Riley and up is the answer. Finau, Riley.
No, it's Riley, Davis, Finau.
Definitely that.
Or, I actually, it might be Thigala.
So then put it this way. It's 2 guys, Davis and up. Then that's a better way to put it.
Yeah, 2 Davises and the chalk.
Right. Or like you talked about, if someone wants to go balanced, maybe they go Thigala, Davis. Like you can do that, or Thigala, Davis, Steele. We know what it is. Here's what you do. Here's how you find out. Build backwards. Put Kim, put Svensson, put Goddard up.
That's the guy I was thinking of.
Put Svensson, Goddard up, put Svensson, Kim, put all 3. Whatever you want to do with those guys tells you your answer. That's what the common build is.
So Riley, Davis, Svensson, Thigala, Tom, Kim gives you $7,400 left for one guy. And there doesn't seem to be like a guy at that level that is super popular.
Yeah, so maybe they plug in Merritt.
Maybe, or they just rebuild. Don't use Cam Davis. Cam Davis is what? 8,900. If you get,
did you have Steele in there?
I did not have Steele. So we get rid of Cam Davis. We go to Steele.
Yeah.
And now we have $8,000 left, which makes it real easy for everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. And do you have Goddard up in there?
No, Goddard.
So they can pick between Goddard and
Hardy or Laird or
whatever they want to do. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's where you're going against.
Or you take out Davis Riley, you put in Tony Finau, get rid of Thigala. Now you have 2 spots at $8,200, and you could easily go. You could probably put Davis Riley back in if you wanted to, and that gives you $7,400. You're back to that $7,400 range, but you can drop Cam Davis now down to Poston.
Yeah, you've nailed it because it's the Finau Thigala conversation up top.
Yeah, like what do you want your last guys in to look like?
Right.
Like Tom Kim is probably.
We know what the last guys in are, but I'm saying you just nailed it. If you have the Thigala version of it, there is a 2v2 to go Thigala up to Finau and one of the 8K guys or whatever, or Riley or Davis down to like a Steele or someone in there. If you have the other version of it, you can just flip-flop it. So it's definitely that.
Reminder to smash the like button while you're here. And if you're asking questions in the chat, of course, you're already subscribed to Mayo Media Network. And we thank you for that. I got running back rankings part 2 with Jake Seeley.
Football season, baby. Let's go.
I'm doing 2 a week. The one I released yesterday, I think, was by far the most informative show that people need to watch.
Okay.
Dr. Jesse Morse on the show went through like every injury concern guy going into the year. He broke down their injury and their risk factor for getting re-injured this year based on like what the history of that injury is and the timetable that they've currently had to recover. And he's pretty familiar with all the training staffs. And even in his draft guide, he has like a ranking of the training staffs in football. Are they aggressive? Are they conservative with how they try to manage timetables? And more aggressive, guys get back earlier, but they tend to have a higher rate of getting re-injured. at
We
the
like
same
this
time.
stuff, man. Like you said, like
That's a real edge. That
the
none of
data
us
for
have.
football is just so good. That's why you love that. And then on top of it, like you said, some of the stuff with people are doing best balls right now, those type of things, and getting into drafts soon enough here where you can kind of figure out the depth chart based on that and start finding some of these values down the stretch based on some of that thought process.
Yeah, like if you're gonna have like the third string or fourth string running back at the back end of your best ball team, well, what if the two guys? It's just like Baltimore right now. I mean, I don't know if Dobbins is going to miss the beginning of the year or not.
He says he's not.
And everyone else says he is.
Yeah.
And the timetable would say that he is going to miss the beginning of the season based on the injury he had.
Yeah.
But like in terms of a re-injury factor, he was super high on the list. But so was Gus Edwards coming off his injury. So just look at the rest of the. Although the Ravens have this weird thing about using like the most like dusty running back they can find and just playing them.
They don't care.
They don't.
They have a running back at quarterback.
They do.
That's why.
But you can remember Tyson Williams last year?
Yeah.
Well, Tyson Williams.
But it's more of with them. It's always more like who's good enough to do that. You don't need to be a good running back. You need to be able to do a good fake handoff with me. That's basically what it comes down to. Can you do a good fake handoff with Lamar? Sure, perfect. Let's do this because no one can figure him out. Still, it doesn't matter.
Well, they do tend to rely on experience for that. Like instead of playing Tyson Williams, there was a reason they brought in Le'Veon Bell and Devonta Freeman to come in. Like Harbaugh wants some sort of veteran presence back there, be it blocking, the ability just to understand like the switches at the line, like, oh, now we have to do this. You don't want some rookie back there who might get Lamar killed.
That's right. That's exactly what it is.
So,
do you know I'm a huge Ravens? That's my team.
I did not know you were.
So that's why we're talking about my squad here. I absolutely love it, and I'm excited for the season upcoming. But yeah, Dobbins going on and just dunking on Rappaport yesterday. Went out there, like you said, get the facts right, rap before you talk about them. Like you said, the players will always say that. Why would he not say he's going to be ready? It involves everything, right? For him, money, contracts, things like that. So if they don't want to rush him back, they won't.
Is Nick Hardley hurt? I think he means Nick Hardy.
Is Nick Hardy hurt?
I mean, he was. Then he came back, and he's been great. Is he hurt again?
Not that I know of.
I'm going to say, I didn't see that.
No.
I mean, that sounds like a question for Google. You know how I love the Google machine.
Oh, you're never going to beat that bit from last week. I had to steal it right away because that's what I want to tell my parents every time they ask me anything. So I used it because it's just perfect. Like, it's so annoying, some of the questions you get texted about or things like that. Like, just Google it.
I've made very few friends in my adult life.
Okay.
I don't need to have friends. Like, when you get to a certain
Working,
age.
too.
What's that?
You're working, too.
Yeah, I'm working all the time. Like, I meet people, like, within the space.
Yeah.
But, like, you and I have become friends now.
Right.
And before that, the person that I had met, that I became friends with, like, just hanging with, both Ravens fans.
There you go.
That's weird, right?
You have an attraction to it.
I guess so.
Yeah. Ravens fans are good people. That's why. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the ones that are like Canadian versions are not in Baltimore. Maybe we talk about that, but I got no problem with it. I definitely think it's a great squad to cheer for.
Tambo, you said before that on the Sunday after a tournament, you review your lineups from that week. Can you film that sometime, like one of Pat's Sunday preview shows, so that we can see that process?
Maybe sooner than later. We'll find out. Soon you'll know. Go back to that situation there. But yeah, you'll find out soon what I'll be doing, and that show could become a thing for sure.
Any interest in James this week? I saw him getting talked up.
He always does. I was just gonna say that was a great Han from the earlier start to the show when you had to clear your throat a little bit. So great job getting that out. That was good. But I don't think, what was he priced at again this week?
7,000, I think.
7 even. You know what I did? Yeah, I'm not playing him, and I'll tell you why. Because I said a couple guys there, but like Lashley, Hoagie, Duncan, John Huff. If you want to do that, run it back with his last name, you can do it. Not me. And then Taryn, Shank. Like, you can make choices there. I'm not gonna play them all, but those are the guys I would play over him. So it is what it is. I just don't like him as much.
Let's see here. Yeah, an event with so much chalk. How much chalk in a lineup is okay without hurting you? Also, what do the people need to get another cuss corner? I have like 2 cuss corners dropping. Because I was talking to you. If you can swing it, we're going to do this show live next Tuesday night. Because I'm gone from Wednesday to Saturday. Just for laughs.
Where are you going?
To Just for Laughs.
Yeah, where is it?
Montreal.
Oh, nice. Oh. Wife going?
Yeah, well, my wife got me John Mulaney tickets for my birthday back in April.
Okay.
For this. And then in the interim, he's now playing here like 2 weeks from now.
Nice. That's good.
always
Someone asked me that last week. They were going to Montreal. They're from the States. And like, what should I do there, Tambo? Like, again, the classic geography lesson.
Yeah.
Like, by the way, that's not where I live. But at the same time, the first question about Montreal is always, is the wife going with you?
Yeah, but it's not so much anymore. So many of the strip clubs have closed a month ago.
It's true, but that's
Kenny's going to be in for a real culture shock when we get there for President's Cup in 2024 and there's no strip clubs left.
Oh, gosh. That would suck, but it's going to be a great time. At the President's Cup, that is.
Yes. Which bill would be more contrarian this week? Skipping the $9,800 range and up, or using two of them?
Using two of them.
Yeah. In an event with so much chalk, how do you build a chalk lineup without hurting yourself here? Is the question from Sam M.
How do you build a chalk lineup without hurting
like
yourself?
How much chalk in a lineup is okay without it becoming like super problematic? Like 2 guys, 3 guys, or does it depend on how you build it?
Just depends. That's why I was saying not who you play, how you play them. There's ways to get around it, but I'm saying some of the chalk this week is just terrible on paper. So like I don't usually get like massive negative numbers on my stuff, which is what I'm getting this week. That's how bad it is because there's options around it that are that
equivalent.
Much better. And so like I'd just be more comfortable with it than ever just to go away from it. And you're going to go to guys that are like 10% instead of 24. It's not like you're getting no ownership into your lineup. You're just getting guys that are just as capable at 1/3 or whatever, in some cases even better odds than that. So I just don't like jamming a bunch of chalk any week, but especially not this week.
Win or lose, it's with your guys' help. Thanks, big deal. Thoughts on David Faraday leaving for the Live? I don't understand why anyone cares about this.
Big get, man. They said big get for them.
Yeah, great.
I don't know what's he been doing. Like, isn't he like? I felt like he was demoted already. Again, he's interesting. He's got like I like him and I liked his show.
Yeah, I feel like he's not used enough on the broadcast anyway.
That's what I'm saying. So didn't it feel like he was demoted because it's like he's going from like being in the nice studio doing shows with Rory and guys like that to like a little hobbit running around the course with like his whole big backpack and his thing on. Like it didn't seem like it was suited for him. So no wonder when a big tray of money gets dropped in front of him, he's like, fuck this. I'm going to Live. Like that's exactly what happened. So I thought it was pretty standard stuff. Barkley is supposed to be joining him. I'm not sure if you saw that rumor.
Yeah, I mean, that feels like such a leverage point against TNT to get more money for his fight. Like, he wants to retire soon. It's
true.
So get, like, one more 3-year deal, whatever it was. It's now doubled.
And how can he go? Well, I as fun as it would be on Live, like, I just think he's funny. But, like, if you go what he has right now with Chuck and all those guys, like, just staying there.
Well, if you're TNT, why didn't you be like, okay, do both?
Or that.
Why wouldn't that be your solution to it?
Yeah.
Like, hey, finish out your contract here. We'll give you a new whatever.
But the only
deal.
it could run into trouble there because if he's getting a 3-year deal with TNT, let's say, and then he gets the
TNT
Live
runs
deal,
the PGA.
Well, yeah, like there's that, but also if Live does end up getting a TV contract at some point, then he has to come over with that or leave it at that point.
I'm sure that you can fudge the language enough.
Maybe.
If you can be like, hey, I'll sign for cost to stay on TNT, but I also have to 10 times a year I have to go do this Live tournament.
Or lock in that if this happens X, if X then Y. There's ways to do it for sure. I just think Faraday and Barkley would be so funny together because Barkley calls everything like it is, even when it's stupid to say. So I think that's what's funny about him.
Taryn a good pick? There's no question mark after this, so it feels like this is a statement, which is not allowed.
There will be worse.
Yeah, that's fair.
The way you read it even came off.
Well, I read it in that way.
Like there was a question mark. Smart. Good
or I could say, Taryn's a good pick.
Oh, see, there's
now it sounds like the guy's making bold claims here.
What's the username?
Bayard's Den Golf.
All right, he's a golf fan. He's probably saying it as a. I don't know, actually. We'll answer it. Like I said, I think he's better than James Hahn. That's how I could answer that.
There we go. I'm listening to the show while weed whacking at a golf course. Is this good luck? I would think so.
I don't know.
This guy says, need the Dogger Pass podcast, please. Ooh, not the time to ask that, considering it comes out the same fucking time every single fucking week. Oh, is the show out yet? What time does it normally come out? Well, it comes out like 3 hours from now every single week. Why would you think it would be fucking out right now? What, do you got a fucking brain aneurysm? You get from fucking Memento? Tattoo the shit on yourself.
Bufo's a good guy. Don't ban him.
All right.
Paul saved your ass, pal.
He was one of the earliest like retweeters of our show and stuff like that.
All right.
He doesn't know the drill. He saw that I posted that we are going live. Maybe he got confused that it was us and not your golf.
Paul
stuff.
saved your ass, pal.
Fair.
You don't come into Pat's golf chat and fuck around.
I got your back, Bufo.
He does. But does the show come out the same time every week?
Literally like within a half-hour window, yeah.
Except for next week, potentially.
Yeah,
It might come out a day early next
week.
week.
Is coming out early.
And by the time you think to ask when it will be out, it will already be out.
That's the good news.
Let's see. Oh, now he's trying to suck up to me, saying Prize Picks Pat's been on fire. Not so much fire last week. Got my first loss on Prize Picks last week, so now we're no longer up 8x. We're only up 7x.
I was gonna say you can afford a loss here and there.
I cleaned up. I was doing very poorly at the Open Championship because I played those like 5-play like over greens and regulation. Everyone either got like 18 or one below what they needed to get.
Yeah.
And I hammered one. I basically chased all my losses.
I think
on Saturday, and I crushed.
I was gonna say, was it Rory on Sunday?
No, it was Paul Casey over that like Barclay guy in total birdies.
Barclay Brown.
He crushed him, and then I had Willett over Westwood, and he beat him by one.
I like both those plays.
That was on Saturday.
In
I was
hindsight.
like, you know what? I'm getting out of here with like.
Yeah.
I've wagered like $2,000 on this. I'm now up 100 after being down. I'm out.
That feels good.
Just I'm gonna go on to next week. And just be happy with it.
Yeah.
I think the one that you released on the show was 3 of 5, so we at least got like
Yeah,
$40 back on a.
That's not a
$100.
win though.
No, it's a loss, but it's a half loss.
It's funny because the two random.
I lost everything.
The two random ones that I added to that were both winners,
Yeah.
and the main ones that I had were two of the three were just losers.
Nothing better than that. We gave you a great play last week, just a minor loss. So,
I mean, honestly, in terms of me, that's like a big win.
yeah, so come back next time, asshole, when you want to lose a bunch of money.
Pick one for last man in: Sig, Tom Kim, Michael Thompson. I'd still go Tom Kim.
Yeah, of those ones, yeah, Sig would be the next in line if you want to make a move.
Do you avoid Glick if he's going to be double digits for ownership? I think that's more of a fantasy national thing. I don't know if he gets to over 10%. Do you?
Not at all. I don't think he gets close, and I think, again, he doesn't fit the common build, so you can still use him.
He fits that common build that with instead of Thigala, because one of those guys is going to get super boosted because that build that I did with Finau instead of Thigala where it leaves you with like 71 or 72 left.
Yeah.
As your last man in, one of those guys will see like an artificial boost because of that type of lineup build.
Yeah, there's so many guys at 69, 7, and 71 that he will not be the guy.
The 3 Cam lineup for the win?
What is it? Tringali, Davis,
And Champ.
and Champ?
It's not terrible, actually.
Could work.
Thoughts on Sig or lower? We go lower.
Yeah, same.
8K range, any of these guys a must play? Is skipping the 8K range a bad idea? All caps? I like Steele. I like Steele and Hardy.
Yeah, skipping it is fine. I also think it's just like last week, though, where you could go into it. Like last week, remember the play we talked about on the show was like skip over Finau and Fleetwood chalk, get different that way. You could find a way to make it work. In the end, you wanted Fleetwood, but I'm just saying you could also hop into it. Like here, you could go a different build would be like Finau, skip Davis at the top of the 8K, and skip Davis Riley at 9K as well.
I'm telling you, Hideki Hadwin, Finau Hadwin might be the move.
Hideki Hadwin.
If Hadwin's the one who looks like he's going to get squeezed.
Yeah. So we're going on the same page here. That's what I say. You could either do like go on Finau to one of the random 9K guys and then skip the entire 8K range, or the other side of the coin is to go with whoever you pick at the top, Finau, Hideki, whatever, skip the 9K range because there's the chalk in there that we talked about, and skip the upper 8K and drop to like Reeve, Long, Post, and Steele Laird types. And
I mean, that was sort of what I talked about with what I'm doing.
yeah, well, you have Steele in there, and even if it is Finau who you choose up top, you still end up with a different build, leaving out Riley and Davis, the two guys up there that people want to play the most.
If you can eliminate the top 3 10K guys and all the 6K guys, which would be your top plays for the 9 and 7Ks? I just feel like that's what everyone's doing. Like, if you want to know the top plays, Riley, Thigala, Cam Davis, Goddard, Tom Kim, Svensson.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that lineup actually works too.
it's like a lineup. I was just going to say that. Don't forget McNeely gets thrown in there because 9,300 playing
McNeely
okay.
will get squeezed a little bit like Hadwin.
He's going to, but I'm saying like when people are doing, that's why what your first point was, I was thinking was perfect, was like we always say like there's levels. So people, I'm skipping the 10K, I'm going to be unique. No, you're doing what everyone else is doing. Now you can still do it differently, but you're not the only person saying that. The chat probably has 10 people saying it. The other Discords that are around are going to have people saying it. Like, it's not that sneaky what you're doing. You need to be sneaky with the move. That's the difference.
Is Tom Kim and Goddard going to be too popular of a pairing to play together? I don't think so. Because I think Goddard will not come in as high as you have him predicted.
What do you think he comes in at?
16%.
Oh, wow. I think it's more than that.
I just think there's too many. Again, I think there's too many guys that are popular in that range. Not that he gets squeezed, just it kind of becomes level between Steele and Hardy and Goddard and Svensson. Like, there's only so many spots.
but to me, it would feel more like Hardy gets squeezed than Goddard.
True. I think Hardy comes in lower. But I think everyone
But
wants
then if you've got Goddard at 16, you've got Hardy at like 12, and that's impossible to me. I don't see it.
Steele is right there.
Steele's above for sure. He's more than, but that's what I'm saying. Where Hardy gets squeezed because you've got Steele and Goddard up.
I just think with the way that people want to construct lineups that they will forego Goddard and Hardy and Steele to get down to Svensson to make sure that they have Riley, Cam Davis. Like, two of those guys is more important to them than the difference between Goddard, Svensson, and potentially even Glick.
I just think it's, like I said, the way the builds work with Kim, Svensson, Goddard, Steele, or Hardy, you still can fit the guys that you want up above. So I think they all got the ownership there. I think 16's too low.
Okay.
On Goddard. And I don't like that build that they said, by the way, because I think both those guys are like two potential failures. No problem.
Oh, my God. We have a ton of questions here. We
got time.
Yeah, I got another show to do like right after this, so we don't have too much time.
Okay.
Let's go with some rapid fire here. Tambo, do you use any group, and what's your criteria?
This week, if you just want like the most basic group, take all these chalk losers, put them together, and say at most 2, and probably get rid of some before you even do that, and just take your stands. It's just a definite week to get off it, and if the chalk beats you this week, get to do it all again next week with 4 par 5s at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. So, but it's a great week to get away from it. There's already so much volatility.
Steele, Grillo, Long. Rank them. That is my ranking of them.
Steele, Grillo, Long. That's my ranking as well.
Grab Sink at 125-1. Thoughts? He hurt my feelings too badly last week.
No.
They
want back-to-back old man like last season, what we were seeing a lot of with Reeve winning the Barracuda. Now see Sink win this? Maybe. Not for me.
With a weak field on a waterlogged course, almost compounding this high variance game, can you simply write off anyone catching 20+% ownership?
Could.
I think you could.
Definitely could. Like I said, some of them will always get there, but do they get there with the right 5 other picks too that people need to make happen? So I'm okay with it for sure if you want to do that.
Do you have any bets on Lee Hodges, top 30? I don't.
What a specific question. I definitely do not.
Do you think Sig can keep smoking coming in this week? Does Todd make a bunch of different lineups unique?
Yeah, what's the difference between Brendan Todd and Brendan Steele besides the O and the A before the N?
I mean, they're two. Everything they do is in polar opposite of each other.
I'm saying like when the price is 7,700 and 8,300,
I'm just saying, what kind of player do you want this week? Do you want super fairway guy who can only hit wedges and there's a long approaches this week, but can put the lights out? Or do you want Steele, who's like number 1 off the tee and number 2 in approach, but can't make a putt?
We want Steele. I'm just saying it would not surprise me if Brendan beat Brendan.
You already answered the leave the money on the table. You're good with leaving up to 1,000?
Yeah, sure. I like that.
Hoagie, a bad play this week? You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Would an all-PM lineup be contrarian enough to get away with a Finau Cam Davis start? Probably. Mm-hmm. Who else is in that late wave of like popular guys? Hardy, Goddard.
Well, one note is that the entire 8,500 and up. So you've got Finau, Riley, and Davis, a popular starting point already. Goddard, who's popular in that spot already. The only ones you would leave out would be Kim and Svensson. So if you were leaving out Kim and Svensson, which are very popular plays in that mid-tier 7K range, even if you wanted to push to a PMAM just for fun, that's what we always talk about. We're like, well, there's no edge. What are you talking about? You don't know weather. Like, who cares? You're playing 6 guys that go out together where if it could pop up, but if it doesn't, there's definitely 6 good plays in that wave. It's still contrarian because not many people build that way, even on weather weeks like the players. We saw 1% one way, only 6 on the actual edge way that everyone thought was going to happen. That's only 7% of the tournament that's even stacking waves in the first place. You can get an edge. It's definitely a possibility.
How do you rate these guys for top 20 finish? For Telly, Lashley, Glick, Lower, and Cole Hammer. I should probably throw Cole Hammer into my...
Oh, there's way too many. Like, people ask like
pool
6 guys. Like, what's your pick? Like, just pick one. For me, it was Lashley, and then actually Hammer for top 40. Because we didn't talk about bets for mine off top. I did grab the 275 on Hammer I saw, and then I put him in top 40 as well.
Top 100, in the race for the Mayo Cup. Well, that's pretty good. I got my money. I got paid for the major season one and done.
Oh.
Made money. I hit more winners in the major season one and done than I did in any of my 4 teams in the race for the Mayo Cup.
Yeah, the majors came through. Big ownership guys came through. Sky posted it the other night, and it was a lot of top ownership guys came through the majors.
Except for Scheffler at the Masters.
Yep, he was low.
Would you play it safe? Would you go more risky and take the Gala or take the safe road and play Sungjae. I actually think you have that inverted.
Yes.
I think the safe play is the Gala and the risky play right now is Sungjae.
For sure.
Because everyone's used Sungjae.
Especially with
basically.
the numbers on top of it, too. So.
Yeah. Who is your best overlooked player this week?
That's a good question. Maybe Tyler Duncan or...
Lee Biota.
Yeah, I'm going a little bit less because I think the ownership's just so congested on the other guys. Like Merritt, the guys that I actually like.
Yeah,
Merritt, Tyler Duncan. Those are sort of two of them that would stand out for me.
Grillo or Svensson?
Oh, jeez. Probably Grillo.
Le Biota or lower? I'll go Lee Biota.
Opposite. Lower.
I'm playing both of them, by the way. Mav and Tom Kim or Steele and Hardy. I like Steele and Hardy.
Yep, I like that one too.
Thanks for the content. Help me take down the 50K mini-max in the 50K short game at the Open. Congratulations, John. That's a huge win.
It's definitely a huge win.
This week, CT Pan or Tom Kim? I honestly don't think there's that big. I mean, Tom Kim, yes, way higher upside long term.
Yeah.
For this week, is there that big of a difference?
Not at all to me. I love CT Pan, so you could play both together if you wanted to and get different that way instead of pivoting, or just play CT Pan if you want to just use a leverage point. I got no problem with it. And he's under Svensson by $100 too.
Yeah, no one's owning CT Pan.
Yeah.
Is dipping into the 6K range for half your lineups a good way to combat the chalk? You don't seem to think so.
I don't. No. Again, you can always get away with like two upper 6K guys that could be 7 anyway and do that. And it worked at RBC Canadian Open, back to my point earlier, if you want to play those guys at the top. But I just think the key is like 7,200 down to 69, which includes 6K range. But I'm saying those guys I don't classify. What I was trying to say earlier is like 6,700 and down, like Austin Cook is my cutoff point. And I'm only playing a few. I think all those other guys are where people will just try and get their flavor of the week guy, and it just never works out. You need everything else to go right. So it's way too random.
Davis Riley or Cam Davis? I like Riley.
Riley.
Cam Davis next week at 50-1.
We're hoping, if he fails this week, he comes through next week. Definitely. Got that 50.
Pat, how do you quantify motivation in your research? Well, it's unquantifiable, and I'm not a complete mope, so I don't.
Yeah.
That's easy enough.
I know the question's coming up, but it's like, because FedEx Cup standings and a lot of guys are looking at the bubble.
If they were so fucking good to be able to turn it on, do you think they'd be in that position to begin with?
Right.
Oh, I'm 146 in the FedEx Cup standings. Better start trying.
Well, it's the
it
same.
doesn't fucking work like that.
And the guy that's in 85th isn't like, don't need to try because I'm already locked in to at least get into the first round. No, he's going to push for more. So it's like they all have motivation. Everyone going out and playing golf has motivation. And even the ones you will say, no, they don't because of this, you don't know. We don't know. We will never know. So you got to assume they do when you're playing it. That's how I look at it.
Are you still considering the back 9 for birdie streak bonuses for Showdown? Yes, I am.
What was this one?
It's just number 1 and number 18 are two of the easier holes on the course, and they're surrounded by more difficult holes. But I believe number 9 is the most difficult hole on the course, generally speaking, in terms of making birdies. That if you were trying to squeeze an extra 2% out of your Showdown lineups, guys starting off 10 would theoretically be more likely to come up with a birdie streak than guys starting on 1.
I like it. So it's the earliest starters, like if Svensson, I don't remember which hole he starts on, but you're saying if he started on 10.
If he started on 10.
You prefer that better so he gets the best weather on the best chance of getting that streak, making it happen.
Yeah.
That's a strategy. I just wasn't sure what you were trying to say with it. But
yeah,
okay.
So number 18 is the par 5. It has a 3% eagle rate and a 37% birdie rate.
Okay.
So pretty good. It's actually the hardest par 5 on the course.
Yep.
But still, 40% birdie or better rate on it. Number 1 is the 4th easiest hole on the course. Guys make birdies around 24% of the time on that hole, so 1 and 4. And then you have the 2nd and 3rd hardest hole after that. And then the 6th hardest hole, the par 3, is number 17. So it's going to be tough to get the birdie streak either way.
It's tough, but you want them getting to 18 sooner, especially based on just that eagle rate and everything that goes with it.
Yeah, and like if you have those two holes back to back, I mean, there's a 14% birdie rate on 17. There's a 17% birdie rate on number 2. Like it's not impossible. 1 and 5, 1 and 6 guys make birdie on them. But if you look at the other way and you go 7, 8, 9, because you start on 1, or sorry, 8, 9, 10, let's say. Or 9, 10, 11. Number 9 is the hardest hole on the course. 8% birdie rate. Like it's not even close how hard that hole is compared to everything else. That it kills your streaks. So you have no chance of getting the wraparound streak if you start on 1, where you would theoretically if you start on 10.
Svensson starts on 1. Quick rapid fire list still. Neesmith, Sahith, Tom Kim. These are all guys that start on 10. Sahith, Neesmith, Tom Kim, Hideki, Sungjae, Hoagie. It's a good list. Ricky Fowler. Martin Laird.
Ricky Fowler round 1 Showdown might be the way to go.
First round leader.
I don't know.
He was tied for first round leader last year.
Here?
Shot a 64 here.
What are his odds?
Not good, probably, because it's still Ricky Fowler.
Fowler 66-1 first round leader.
There you go.
Seems low, actually, for Ricky Fowler.
Anything betting Ricky Fowler just seems horrible, so I'll just leave it at that. But I will say that he was, I believe, tied for first round lead here last year with a 64.
Did Lonto withdraw?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Can we just go to
Sung you'll know. 8 a.m. to 8:18 a.m. T10.
Showdown Hero? Sung
be.
you'll know. Now you'll know.
Oh God, we might crush with this guy Cole Hammer.
Yeah, how can we lose this week?
Did you bet Cole Hammer first round leader?
I did not. I suppose I should, shouldn't I?
Bet everything for him. You have to.
I mean, I bet him. He's 140-1.
You can see the tweets already tomorrow. Imagine not hammering the guy with Hammer in his name.
All right, Cole Hammer,
And he just
first round
crushes it out
leader.
of the gate.
Hammer 140-1. Oh, great.
I love making up narratives. It's so fun.
I mean, that's all you can really do for first round leader. It's pretty random.
Yeah, I think he does. Yeah. What about, did you bet Dylon?
No,
No, not Wu. Manante, number 6 amateur in the world.
I did not know.
Okay, he did not know. Sung, you'll know. You'll know. We'll find out tomorrow. But okay, yeah, we've got our guys. I like the T10 thing. That's interesting.
13 of the 54 top 15s over the history of this tournament were in the $7,000 to $7,300 range. Good news for me because I'm playing a ton of those guys.
Yeah, see?
Matthias Schwab, let's go.
I like that idea, though. That's what I was saying about that 6K range. You're going to try and figure out this diamond, and it's going to come through, and the rest of your lineup's going to look dirty, so I don't like it.
I keep hearing about Brandon Matthews.
Yeah, because he's a bomber, and bombers win here.
I mean, yes. I mean, Michael Thompson won here.
That's my point. That's why it was very sarcastic, that statement. That's why you're hearing about him, but not getting any ownership anyway, so play him if you want to. Things like, I'll say it quick, guys.
I just wanted to check in to see what he was doing. He withdrew from his last tournament. I don't know why.
I didn't dig into it that much. I think there was a reason, though. I think it's fair. I don't think it's a problem. Someone put a tweet out last night. I forgot to look at it, but I have it bookmarked. But just going back, Matthews, a bunch of the guys we said there, but just a couple that stood out to me, like the Gligic, Hostler, those guys that people keep bringing up that we hear that aren't going to get any ownership, they're fine to put in your 150 pool because they're boom or bust. Like if they come through for you, they can score big over the weekend, but they can also blow up on the first day and be done. So I got no problem with them. I'm saying I don't think they're like these great plays like everybody else thinks. It's not like the sneaky play of the week that you win on all the time. It's just something that you can get after. So I got no problem putting them in your MME pools to be different.
I don't bet golf often, but I need a good play to max bet. Any ideas? Cole Hammer, 300-1. If you said to pick one guy and you had a free max bet,
Hardy 50. Take it.
I'd probably just bet Finau.
Oh God.
Like I have one guy.
Every guy that wins here is 100-1, Pat. You have to be 100-1 or more. So Hardy at 50 is probably not good either. Maybe we better give him like Bramlett or something.
Higo, 100-1.
Higo, there you go. Right on the number, the exact 100-1.
Is Griot a good pivot off of Svensson?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah. Finau, Matsuyama, or Thigala? Oh, that's that guy answering the other guy's question. Oh, that's a bannable offense. Banned for life. Sorry, pal. I'm hearing that Hardy is hurt. You said that fucking before.
I'm going to have to look it up after now because people are getting into it, but...
It's the same guy. This guy has heard it. No one else apparently has.
Why don't people just post it in or like set us up? Can they like find the tweet or the source and post it into the chat?
They could. Absolutely.
Not saying we'd go through every little thing to find it, but the point would be that like it can get brought to our attention, tag us, show me something that we can find this information out so we can get after it and see what we can do. But I don't know.
Did Hardy play at the Barracuda?
I think he crushed.
Did he?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, Hardy had a wrist injury like 3 months ago.
He was definitely injured before. We know this. I'm saying like
since he's come back, he's been fine.
Last week was not like the greatest, but I
mean, if he WD'd last week, then yeah, I could see there being a problem. He was T13 last week.
Yeah. T30 John Deere, T8 Travelers, T14 US Open. Like, it's been very, very good.
Merritt or Fratelli? Merritt.
Yep, same for me.
Is Hideki in play for you? He's been sucking lately overall. I like people's definition of sucking.
Me too.
I'm playing Hideki.
Yeah, I'm in on Hideki too, especially.
This guy just keeps spamming names at people. That's why you're banned for life, pal. This guy is now talking about what Pat McAfee said about Liv. Okay, these questions have gotten bad. Probably
once you get rid of Bilal and William, the chat opens up.
Oh, does it? Okay, I'll do that.
Those guys were basically just having a discussion. I was looking forward to when you got to that point because I knew someone was getting banned.
Now I need to let's see. Any love for Mo Lim?
For who?
I don't know. I don't know. Who that
Mo
is.
Liv? Sounds like another fake name they're trying to get us
Yeah,
with, Pat.
I'm gonna get that guy.
He's gone.
Yeah, this guy's also gone. Oh yeah, that really does open up the chat, doesn't it? Griot or Fratelli? We went with Griot.
Yeah.
Laird or Goddard? I think they're about even. I mean, I bet Goddard at a higher number, but I'm playing both these guys.
Yeah. In large field tournaments, I like the Laird pivot. Just get on him for a few bucks more.
Any thoughts on Austin Cook? We're in.
I'm in 6,700. Yep.
What's his betting now? His betting number's like not fair, right?
It's not good.
It's like 60-1 or something stupid.
I can't remember, but I didn't like it. I know that much.
Would starting with 1 or 2 of Hadwin, Mav, and Riley be unique? I doubt it.
I think the Hadwin Mav would be a unique start. First of all, we just talked about it. Hadwin gets squeezed no matter what, so starting with him, I think gets squeezed as a roster construction. So I'm okay with it.
This guy's talking about the 3 cam lineup again. Already did on that. Should we be high on lower? I mean, I don't know how high you should be on him, but he's playable.
Last name says you should be low on him, so we'll stick with that. I'm not super high on him, that's for sure.
Who is the wrestler between Piper and Savage? That's the no. Oh, it's Coco Beware right behind them.
He's talking behind. I said that
Yeah,
is
it's right behind. I was
savage.
like,
That is savage, but yeah.
Yeah, someone said it was JYD. No, JYD is somewhere else on the set. Or maybe he's back in the box over there. I really need to do something with this for football season. I'm not quite sure what I want to do yet.
Switch it up.
And I would switch it up. I got to make it jazzier.
Okay. We still got to get the whiteboard cam. We still got to get the setup.
Oh, yeah, there's lots to do.
There's lots to do.
Lots to do. Thoughts on Marty Fish making an ace? All right.
You guys are so high on this joke. It's so funny. Marty Fish.
Is anyone actually playing Marty Fish?
Absolutely not. There's no chance.
Do you actually perma-ban everyone? I mean, that's a question, so I'm not going to perma-ban you, but yeah? I mean, what do you think that faux life means? Please.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy called me a dunce. Mo Lim won his qualifier by 8. Well, that sounds like a bannable offense. Don't be calling Pat a dunce. Please. Gone. Thoughts on David Skins? No. Like, if you want to play, like, the biggest losers in the field, play them.
That's just a horrible idea on a week like this. Like, someone's coming through. But my point was more just to finalize it because we're going to get to the end of it sooner. But, like, Cam Champ last year was 7,100, I think. Something like that. He was, like, 3% owned. He wasn't even on the winning GPP lineups. So, like, you going down to these 0.5% owned losers thinking that, but he's going to hit because he won his qualifier by 8. If he does, you probably still don't win shit. So it's just a terrible play.
Should we take some kind of proximity into the equation? Longer. 175 plus, I would say.
150 to 200, somewhere in there. 175 more likely, yes. But I don't care about that stuff.
Thoughts on McNeely as second man in cash games?
He's fine.
All right, that's it. That's all the questions. Once we got rid of those 2 jabronis. Yeah, I thought there's an awful lot of questions in here, but it's just 2 people having a conversation. Take it offline, pals. No one wants to see it around here. Tambo, what do you got coming out this week?
We got everything. We got Run Pure Sports. Going to do the premium show today with Big T. His Uncle T there, Terry. We're going to do that show 3 p.m. Eastern over at Run Pure Sports. Promo code DGen50. And then Thursday night, we're going to be on Mayo Media Network. And Friday night, I'll be on the Thursday night show doing the Round 2 Showdown show. Of course, like always, weather, plays, picks, exposures, everything that we're looking at for going into that. It's a free show right here on Mayo Media Network.
Love it. Love it. I'm going to tune in and win all the monies. Although now I already know what Round 1 Showdown strategy is, so...
Oh, this is for Round 2, though.
It's for Round 2,
Weather could change. It's likely the same strategy, but it could change.
Yeah, just use something you'll know. Print money.
We'll see.
Is what we figured out for this week.
He goes off in the PM on Friday.
Oh, that's tougher.
It might be tougher.
That's tougher, and he probably doesn't start on 10. He probably starts on 1 because they rotate.
We'll see.
Svensson. When everyone's using the AM guys on Friday, use Svensson starting on 10 day 2.
You got to see what he does round
after he has
1.
the bad day 1.
Yes, there you go.
There you go. So you can follow me at the PME. You can follow Tambo at Toe Tagging Tambo. Check out his tidbits. I got a newsletter coming out tonight. You can sub for free down in the description. Get it sent right to you. All the extra info and research that you need, plus all the cheat sheets, will be in there. I'm Pat Mayo. Thank you all for watching. Smash a like. I'll see you next time.